Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Eva Medilek, and I am thrilled to be able to have a little mini conversation with you and hopefully give you some value and insights into how you can show up as your best self in your life, in your business, for yourself, and for your family. So today I'm talking about people pleasing versus priorities. And the reason why I'm talking about this is on my radio show yesterday, I spoke with an amazing coach, Valerie Jones, and she talked about her year of selfishness. And she brought up some very, very valid points as a self proclaimed recovering people pleaser. Now, most of us, it's fair to say, have times in our lives when we make decisions that have us feel guilty for making a decision that puts ourselves and our own needs first. Now, there are others of us who have no problem putting ourselves first. But for most of us, we don't want to upset the apple cart. We don't want to make anybody mad at us. We don't want to make our spouse or our partner upset. We don't want to disappoint our children. We don't want to disappoint people in our lives. We want to be all things to everyone. And Val was sharing how in her life, this was her all the time. She wore a badge of selflessness. She was being selfless in all of the decisions that she made. And what she pointed out powerfully was that selflessness means less of yourself. And when you practice selflessness year after year after year, you lose most of yourself, most of your authenticity, most of your ability to make decisions that put yourself and your priorities first. And when that happens, we end up living pretty much miserable lives. We end up always sacrificing for other people, always putting ourselves last. And some of us, some of you out there, I know, wear that as a badge of honor. I used to have my martyr cape on all the time, where I was so self-sacrificing for myself and my children and doing everything myself to the point of burnout and exhaustion, to where I started to really become resentful in my life, and it showed up in my attitude, it showed up in my energy. And that's what happens when we don't prioritize what's important to us, what's important now, what matters most to us. And then we end up being a victim to our circumstances and not being empowered to make powerful decisions that move our lives forward. And so, what I did is I put a link to that entire show, that entire podcast in the description. So you can, let me see if I can put it in here now. It may or may not show up, I'm not sure. But you can go ahead and click on that link and hear the entire episode. It was really powerful how putting yourself first, and I'm not meaning in a get out of my way, it's mine kind of selfishness, because that's the connotation most of us, the visualization most of us have of selfishness, is that we have a disregard for everyone else's feelings. The problem is the unhealthy imbalance of always putting other people first and our priorities last. And let me show you how this shows up. You're going about your day, and you've got your to-do list. My to-do list is always in this little booklet here. And then you spend your entire day reacting to other people's needs and priorities. This is what it looks like. You go into your email inbox, right? And then you're responding to what everybody else needs from you in your email inbox. You take calls and answer texts instead of working on what's important for you and your priorities to get done today for your life and business, right? And so you spend the whole day responding and reacting to what other people need from you. So here's a tip that I want to give you that will help you just take that first step in prioritizing your needs, in prioritizing yourself. For example, how many of you have probably said at one point in your life, and you can put a one in the chat, I don't have time for XYZ for myself, whether it's working out, whether it's making healthy lunches for yourself for the day, whether it's taking time even to have a massage because I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I just don't have time to do that, right? Kyla put a one in. Yes, Kyla, I feel you. What are you busy doing is the next question. Who are you busy taking care of? That is not you. What is more important than your health and well-being? What is the priority here? Because most of the times when we take care of ourselves, it's usually because we have no other choice. We've got a medical condition or some kind of crisis of a breakdown where we have to. We are too exhausted to continue. Christian has 4 ones. Oh my goodness, you're funny. I feel it. The same thing happened to me. Chris has a 1 as well. The same thing happened to me when I was busy working my full-time job, building my entrepreneurial business, but insisting on doing the shopping, the cooking, the laundry, all of it, because I felt no one could do it better than me. I felt I could make healthier meals for my family than they could make for themselves. I felt I could get their whites whiter than they would if they put everything in the wash. I also had that need for control. And that's how people pleasing shows up as well. You want to control how other people feel about you and things. I mean, this is powerful stuff. This is deep, right? Yes, Chris, amen. Yes, Kyla, yeah, when you have a special needs son, that puts in a different level of responsibility of you. But think of how much better we can take care of our loved ones in our lives when we are taken care of as well, when we have the energy, when we have the stamina, the vibrancy, the joy, the health, the well-being to be a better version of ourselves for other people. So, in order to make selfish choices, you've got to figure out what you want, what's important to you, and what's a priority. For me, when I was doing everything for my family, I was also exhausted all the time. I couldn't stay focused and awake in a conversation. I was cranky when somebody asked me to do just one more thing. But when I learned how to focus on my health, my well-being, my happiness, it made me a better spouse. It made me a better parent. It made me a better child to my parents. It made me a better friend to my friends, and it makes me a better coach to the people that I coach because I can show up fully for them without having the weight of the world on my shoulders. Just let that sink in for a minute, without having the weight of the world on my shoulders. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. I put the link to the full show in the comments if you guys want to check it out. Val Jones, it really took a year. Not all of us have that luxury, but she was able to take a year to focus on herself and make decisions for herself. And that created a transformation in her where her relationships were deeper, her relationships were more joyful, her health was better. I think she ended up losing, I think she says in the show, about 55 pounds. And that gave her more energy and more stamina to be the best version of herself that she could be. Self-care is not separate from productive action. Success requires selfishness. It does. You'll hear me say that in my speeches all the time. So listen to the show and see what ideas you can get. And let's see, there's a question from Kyla. What do we do when you have no one else? No help, no family, not a single friend. I've got a 10 and a 13-year-old son to be present for too. Well, Kyla, here's what I would tell you. I mean, I see that you're in a photo with someone, so there's obviously people in your life. And you know what? There are, here's what I want to say about that. Ask yourself, what is the reason you have no friends? Is it because you're not putting yourself out there to network, to be in community of other people because you're so focused on who you have now? There are so many network groups. There are so many groups where you can be with your children and be with adults at the same time. There are so many networking groups for people, parents of special needs children, that you can get together and you can lean on each other. You know, I don't say this to sound mean, but when we isolate ourselves and we're alone, it's a choice that we make. And there are other choices that we can make to bring in community and support. So, yeah, like Tala said, to expand your connections. The children are in school. There's other parents in the school. And, it's a choice to get out there and make more connections and actually ask for help, ask for support. That is the first thing that people who are used to doing everything for everybody, it's one of the first breakthroughs that you get to have, is to ask for help in doing things for yourself and for your family. And that's hard to do when you're always the one who is giving, giving, giving. But the old cliche is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So what are you doing to fill your cup? So any anyway, hope this helped you. And, please go on my website, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram at Eva Medilek Executive Coach. Go on my website, evamedilek.com. Get some of the freebies that are on there so that you can be in touch with me on my email list. And I wish you all a beautiful rest of your week.